The elements of an offense, or sometimes called the elements of a crime, are the building blocks for each criminal law in the Texas Penal Code. In other words, all elements of the offense within a statute must be met or satisfied in order for a crime to have been committed. The elements of an offense include the forbidden conduct. In other words, the act or omission that is prohibited, sometimes in Latin called the actus reus. Next, the required culpability. Culpability being your mental intent to commit a crime, sometimes called the mens rea in Latin and connected to one of the four culpable mental states in Texas. Next, the required result, which is otherwise known as the outcome. In Texas, either harm, bodily injury, serious bodily injury, or death. And finally, the negation of any exception to the offense. So, if the statute has any exceptions written into it, in other words, a statement to the effect of, this law doesn't apply in this specific situation, that exception must not apply or be negated in order for the elements of the offense to be considered satisfied and a crime to have been committed. As stated before, each element of the offense as written into the Penal Code statute must be satisfied in order for a crime to have been considered committed. There are a few exceptions to this, however. Some offenses are considered to be strict liability. In other words, it doesn't matter what your mental state or mens rea was. You are still considered to have committed the crime, even if you did not have any conscious intent to do so. An example of a strict liability offense is driving while intoxicated and other similar intoxication offenses. The Penal Code indicates no culpable mental state is required. Finally, it's also important to note that some criminal statutes don't specify a culpable mental state when you read them. Even though it's not written into the statute, the Penal Code states early on that if a culpable mental state isn't listed, then the reader is to assume the culpable mental states of intentionally, knowingly, or recklessly apply.